we are going to find the equation of a line tangent to the graph of f of x when x is 1. So in order to write the equation of a line, you need two things. You need the slope and a point on the line, and that is illustrated right here. This is the equation of a line. We're going to use the transformation form just because you all have used that since Algebra 2, so you're familiar with it. HK can be any point you want, except in this case when they're actually telling you what HK needs to be. Well, they're telling you H only, so they're telling you the X, so you already know the X. So if you were to write the equation, you already have the X value. But you don't have the K, which is the Y value, and you don't have the M. You have to find those two things. So I've plotted down here, if you can see the graph, and there's the point at x equals 1 right here. So if you want to think about an equation of a line that would go through that, it would look like this. So it's going to be tangents. That means it just touches it at one point. I'm going to draw like a tiny little line. It's going to look like that. So to write the equation of a line again, we need the point and the slope, and we do not have K and we do not have M. We need those. So let's go find them. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to find the point on the line. So number one, find the point on the line. And since we don't know the equation of a line, we can't use this line to find the y value, but we can use the f of x to find that y value. Obviously, you can see on the graph what it is, but you won't have a calculator, so you'll have to actually find it another way. So we're going to use f of x. So it says from f of x to get that point. So, and we already know the x, so we're going to put f of 1, and then we're going to plug that in. 2, 1 to the 4th, minus 3, 1 cubed, and that's going to give us 2 minus 3, which equals negative 1. Now you can see negative 1 is this point, so my point is 1 comma negative 1, where this is my h and this is my k. So we have negative 1 plus, actually plus a negative 1, right? Ooh, that's gross. So we're just going to write minus 1 here. All right, so now all we need to find is slope. Remember, derivative is slope, derivative is slope. So we're going to find the slope now, and we have to do that from the derivative. So we have to do it from f prime of x, but not just x, because what is x in this case? X is 1, right? Awesome. But first we have to find f prime of x, then we can plug 1 in. So f prime of x is going to be 8x cubed minus 9x squared. And then we're going to plug in our value of 1. And that is going to give us 8, 1 cubed minus 9, 1 squared, which also equals negative 1. We have a lot of negative 1s here. So this is our slope equation right here. But we want the slope at 1. And as you notice this line right here, this line is a negative line, right? The slope is negative on this line. So that makes sense. And this is a really bad line. But if you graph it on Desmos, which I can show you here, you're first doing these to graph them just to make sure you have a visual idea of what's going on. But now we know, yes, our slope is negative 1. So we can put a negative 1 here. So again, our equation of the line is y equals negative 1, or just negative, x minus 1 minus 1. And that is the equation of the line tangent. A couple of you said, hey, the book answer is a little different. They're using point slope form, which is the exact same thing. They have just added 1 to both sides. So their form looks like this. And it's the exact same equation, and AP Classroom and AP Readers and AP does not care which form you use. We're just using this form because we've been using it for a couple years. You can kind of look at the slope and say, oh, wow, yeah, that is negative 1, rise over run, right? Rise over run. So that is a negative 1. You can check it with Desmos. So I definitely recommend, if you guys want a little more difficult, page, right? So it's just asked when you have a horizontal tangent. And so the question is just a little bit different now. Now they're telling you that you have a horizontal tangent line. I have the graph here, and you can see a horizontal tangent looks like this. And if it's a horizontal, it's the horizon, right? So it's a line like that. And this is 0 slope. Remember, this is 0 fun when you're just walking along a straight line. So if you look at the actual graph, if you want to graph it on Desmos, you can see we have a horizontal slope at, oh yes, 1, 2, 3 places. And also, just as a hint, look what kind of equation you're going to have when you have a horizontal line, right? If they have a horizontal tangent, that literally creates a horizontal line. But I won't do the spoilers. We'll just go ahead and try to find this. So we are actually, they've given us the slope, right? So they've given us the slope, and we know the slope is 0. So that kind of makes this problem a little bit easier. So we know that the slope is 0. So for our equation of a line, we have y equals 0, x minus h plus k. So our equation of a line is going to be y plus k. So we just need to find, and y plus k, in this case, k is a number, it's a constant. So you can see right here, just by looking at the graph, this one's going to be y equals 2. And this is going to be y equals, what is this? This is some crazy number. You could click on that for Desmos, but you won't have Desmos or your calculator. So you actually have to find out, what are these values? So let me show you how to do that right now. So we are going to do that with the slope equation. Of course, because derivative is slope, we're going to find the slope equation, and the slope equation is the derivative. So we are going to find y prime. So y prime equals 4x cubed minus 6x. And again, remember, what is the slope? The slope is going to equal 0. So we're going to put a 0 here. And now we're going to solve for x. X cubed minus 6x. First, I see I can take out, let's go. I can take out a 2 and an x, and that leaves me 2x squared minus 3. Awesome. So I have to see what will make this go to 0. So we set each piece equal to 0. And we solve for x on both. So 0 divided by 2, remember that is okay, right? Smiley face, and that is 0. So x is 0. Oh, look at that. X is 0. That's where it is. That gives us one of the x values. And the other x value, 2x squared equals 3. X squared equals 3 over 2. X equals, don't forget your plus or minus, the square root of 3 over 2. You can leave it that way, or you can type in your calculator and get a decimal. But this will give you these values right here. And if you do type them in, I think they're like 1 point something, or negative 1 point something, as you can see. So for the x values, because you were looking for the x values, so this x value is here. It's like a negative 1 point something, and the x values here. That gives you the x values of the horizontal line. All right, have a great day.